Welcome to Navigating Parallel Parenting with a Psychologically Abusive Ex. I'm Sarah Squires, owner and director of the nurturingcoach.co.uk and creator of the Get Caught Ready programme. Co-parenting is challenging, even under normal circumstances with a healthy ex, but it becomes even more complex when you're dealing with a psychologically abusive ex-partner. What this course is designed to do is provide you with practical strategies, tools to effectively navigate the unique challenges of co-parenting with a psychologically abusive ex, whilst prioritizing the well-being of your child. So obviously co-parenting exists on a spectrum from the very healthy co-parenting, and we'll look at, say, Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow for that example, where they get on great, they are friends, they're able to put on a united front in front of the children. Very few families are able to sort of reach that point, and they do, it's a few years down the line. The other end of the spectrum is obviously the counter parenting, and that's what we tend to see with narcissistic, psychologically abusive exes. So parallel parenting sort of sits slightly up from that counter parenting in as much as it can be healthy for couples that are just coming out of a divorce or just coming out of a separation. Their feelings are very raw and they're not ready for that complete stand together, put their feelings aside. So parallel parenting could be a bridge between that. Equally, parallel parenting could be a bridge between counter parenting and some form of co-parenting. And I'm using that term loosely because obviously co-parenting requires cooperation, collaboration, trust, respect, which you just don't have with a psychologically abusive ex. However, parallel parenting is the best option that you have for when a parenting relationship has to be maintained with someone who is psychologically abusive. So what we're going to cover, is in lesson 1, we'll cover the understanding of psychological abuse and its impact on co-parenting. Lesson 2, establishing healthy boundaries with the psychologically abusive ex. Then we'll move on to effective communication strategies. Managing conflict and dealing with co-parenting challenges comes next, followed by navigating the legal system. We'll then look at prioritising self-care and building a support system for coping with the psychologically abusive ex, followed by crafting a parallel parenting plan. And we'll finish off looking at creating healthy and safe parallel parenting environments for your child. So before we get started, I thought we'd really explore what do we mean by parallel parenting. So there's some answers here. Just want you to take a moment to think, what is parallel parenting? Where are you right now? What is your level of understanding? There's no right or wrong per se in where you're at, but it's good to understand so that we can move forward. So what is parallel parenting? Is it a type of parenting where both parents work together closely to co-parent their children after separation or divorce? B, a parenting style where parents raise their children separately without much communication or collaboration? Or C, a parenting approach where one parent has full custody and makes all decisions for the children. So parallel parenting is B. You raise your children separately without much communication or collaboration. Essentially, you stay in your own lane. You do your parenting your way, they do parenting their way. And whilst you may not approve of their parenting style, equally, they may not approve of your parenting style. It's not your place to say what they should and shouldn't be doing. Just got to let them get on with it. Obviously, if severe issues come up that are child safety issues, you have to raise them. But on the whole, it's pretty much what happens in their house, happens in their house, what happens in your house, happens in your house. And you deal with those things separately. So what's the primary goal of parallel parenting? A, to minimize conflict between co-parents and protect children from being caught in the middle. B, to ensure that both parents have equal time and access to their children. or C, to prioritise the needs and wants of the parent with primary custody. So the main one is A, to minimise conflict between co-parents and protect children from being caught in the middle. Whilst there is an element of B, it's more about quality of time than equal time, because equal implies almost like cutting your children in half, like a cake. And that's not how post-separation custody always works, because one parent might work full time, there might be distance between them. But what is important is the quality of parenting time that each parent gets. So it's A. The correct answer is A. So which of the following is a key principle of parallel parenting? A, regular communication and shared decision making between co-parents. B, minimizing contact and communication between co-parents to reduce conflict. Or C, allowing one parent to make all the decisions without input from the parent. Now, obviously, a lot of narcissistic parents would say C, and that's their ideal. They want to make all the decisions and cut the other parent out, which is what we call alienation. But hopefully, if you've got to a parallel parenting stage, it's about B. It's minimizing contact and communication between the co-parents in order to reduce conflict. So how is it different from traditional co-parenting? Well, parallel parenting emphasises minimising communication and contact between co-parents, while traditional co-parenting encourages open communication and collaboration. Parallel parenting focuses on maintaining strict boundaries between co-parents, while traditional co-parenting emphasises flexibility and cooperation. Parallel parenting prioritises the needs of the parent with primary custody, while traditional co-parenting aims for shared decision-making and joint parenting. It's actually both A and B on this one. So it is about minimizing communication and contact, but it's also about strict boundaries. So obviously, if that's something that you struggle with, that's an area for you to work on, is the setting of boundaries. And we'll come on to that in another unit. But this is something for you to learn. If you're here, that's great. You're wanting to learn how to parallel parent. And this is about what you can do, not about what to expect of your ex. So what are some common situations where parallel parenting may be recommended? High conflict divorces or separation, where communication between co-parents is challenging, cases where one parent is deemed unfit or unsafe to care for the children, or situations where geographical distance between co-parents makes regular communication difficult. Theoretically, the answer is A. However, in the majority of cases, the answer is A. Obviously, in B, it's less about the care for the children, is parallel parenting would be around unsafe for you. There may be, if there's domestic abuse involved for you that hasn't been seen or hasn't been ruled as being a risk factor for the children, then you could parallel parent. Obviously, if there's risk to the children and they're deemed unfit, that's not parallel parenting, because essentially the other parents would be doing less parenting. And situations where geographical distance between co-parents makes regular communication difficult. Again, there'll be elements of parallel parenting, but that's not specifically what it is used for. So B and C, yes, there are elements of parallel parenting that are useful for those situations, but the majority is for A. How could parallel parenting benefit children? A, by reducing exposure to parental conflict and protecting them from being caught in the middle. B, by ensuring that both parents have equal time and access to the children. Or C, by allowing one parent to make all the decisions for the children without interference from the other parent. So again, it's A, it's about protecting the children. That's the main purpose of parallel parenting. And it is a benefit to them that they don't get caught between what's happening in each house. They learn that what happens in one house, it might be different to what happens in the other. And whilst it's not ideal, it is the best of a bad situation. And what are some potential challenges of parallel parenting? So A, limited communication, potential lack of cooperation between co-parents, difficulty ensuring equal time and access to the children for both parties, or confusion for children due to different parenting styles involved household. So, C, it can be difficult for children to know what happens in one house, and it's not ideal for them. They should be a much smoother transition, but in some cases that's just not possible, and kids will adapt. They will learn that there are different rules, like there are in school and in other kids' houses that they go to. There's different rules, different ways of doing things, and they learn, they do adapt. Obviously, in terms of the challenges of parallel parenting, there's many to do with the personality of the ex, but talking from a child focused perspective, it is about the confusion for children. But like I say, they do adapt, they do learn, they are able to do it. So we've given you a brief outline of what parallel parenting is, or ask some questions. We are going to delve more into this, and essentially whether you are currently in a co-parenting relationship with psychologically abusive ex, or you are looking to parallel parent, this course is designed to equip you with the knowledge and skills necessary to protect yourself and your children's well-being and navigate the complexities of parallel parenting. So how this course is designed, just before we move on to the first lesson, is we're going to introduce a learning objective based on the lesson. So what we hope for you to achieve at the end of each lesson. We'll use real life examples to illustrate what we mean by the behaviours that we're talking about, the situations that we're talking about. We'll give you an activity to do, and then that dreaded word, homework. Now, obviously, homework is optional. You don't have to, but it's something that if you want to start putting things into practice, then you can. So there we go. Welcome to this course. I look forward to sharing more with you. Let's get on with the next course.